All right, welcome to TSC Live Workhorse here at the Gene, joined by the head man, Coach Joel DeCastri. That always gets me, Coach. How we doing today?
I'm doing well. Don't worry, we had a television interview the other day and somebody had an interesting take on my last name, so
Yeah.
I'm pretty used to it at this stage. I'm more concerned about getting over the steps I've just had to climb to get here, mate.
Yeah,
So
right?
it was a good workout. Maybe I'm ready for a start.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I still heard you give us a good 10 minutes. That's right.
Uh,
The last time we talked, you said you'd give us a good 10, 15.
Definitely, I trust my first touch and my awareness to get me through maybe 6 minutes.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. So, Coach, we got a big one going on here today. We got a little bit of weather delay going, but Valdosta, a team who's looking on the up and up. You just came back from a little bit of a road trip. What's the big one emphasis that you have going into today?
To make sure that we're prepared. So we've got an important game ahead of us now. We're at a critical stage of the season. Obviously, we know about the standings, we know about the points for each team, but this is a local rival. It's a team that's going to come ready to play us, so we need to be prepared to be the best version of ourselves this evening.
Okay, absolutely. So, of course, we got Julian starting in goal today. We saw him earlier in the week. What'd you see from the Argentinian keeper earlier this week, and how you feeling about him tonight?
So obviously Juli's in his second season with us, so I trust him a great deal as a goalkeeper, as I do Xander, and as I do Eric. So Julie gets the shout tonight, and I'm looking forward to watching him play, as I am all the players.
Okay, absolutely. So, Coach, as we get going through here, is there anything that you feel like affects your team when you come out of a weather delay? So we're in a little bit of a, at least it was at the beginning of the game, so it's not like we had to stop and start and in and out. Does that affect kind of the warm-up process or kind of the mentality as you all go in?
It can, but soccer's about being adaptable. So this is just a new situation that we have to adapt to, and I think that's why the word today has been prepare. So this is just another thing for us to be prepared for. We're luckily and blessed with Brazil versus Morocco in the changing room right now. So the boys are still taking in plenty of football. So we're all good.
Any last-second notes that you're trying to jot down that you're trying to implement for today, Coach?
Yeah, I think I might need a training session actually after watching Brazil. So I'm not quite sure we're ready for them, but maybe next time.
Okay, a little less playing out of the back maybe.
Less playing out of the back. Good idea.
Fair enough. So, Coach, this is a team that you've got a couple familiar faces for that we've seen come through the Tallahassee program. Have you been factoring that in as far as your defensive scheme, or what's your defensive approach coming here tonight?
Never keen to talk about tactics, Andrew.
Okay.
But principles of play are very clear for me and my team. I like to defend by attacking. So we'll do our best to win the ball back as quickly as we can, be aggressive, be composed when we've got the ball. And in terms of the guys that we know on the roster, great respect for the coach as well, Billy, who's a good friend of mine. I'm going to give a little shout out to he's from a place called Tring, or close to Tring. I'm from a place called Hemel Hempstead. They're actually about, I'd say, 10 minutes apart. So, shout out to the Hertfordshire crew. I think it's the first time we'll have two Hertfordshire coaches going against one another in Florida.
Okay.
So that's a good touch as well. But in terms of the players that are returning, that we know very well, I mean, obviously you hear me speak a lot about doing what I can for the community here.
Yeah.
So I can't complain. I'm seeing more guys getting on bigger rosters, and I'm happy that I've been part of these guys' journeys. Today they're our opponents. We'll want to beat them, but once the final whistle's gone, they'll be our friends again.
Absolutely. So, Coach, I know your mom's a loyal tuner in to the stream here. Did she have anything to say to you after picking up the card a couple weeks ago, or last weekend when we were playing Pensacola?
Well, we had a video call, and she obviously tends to look away from me a lot when I do something wrong. No, I'm kidding. No, my mum knows I can be a little bit petulant. Trust me, she had to deal with it for a large chunk of her life. She just obviously is keen to make sure I'm respectful, and I try to be, but I have to let out my emotions somewhere. So I try to do it in the best way I can. So I'm sorry, Mom. I'll try to behave better tonight, but no promises.
Absolutely. And I know, Coach, you're still waiting on that trading card. Any news for that coming for you?
It's gone all quiet, and I'm really disappointed. I know Chris is doing so much for our club. I mean, the amount of things that he does that I think people realize is one thing, but the amount of things that Chris does that nobody sees is a whole different ballgame. So I appreciate everything he does and all the volunteers for our club. I appreciate what you do as well, Andrew. I think this is the best broadcast in the nation, not just in Florida or in our league. So thank you very much for what you do. Hopefully my player card will be in the mail, right?
There you go. Hopefully so, Coach. So we'll keep an eye out for it. I know you got to get down there to the game, but thanks so much for joining us. Anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to lead into? I know since you came all the way up here, I want to give you a chance to make sure that we didn't kind of pigeonhole you into a certain set of questions. Is there anything that you want to spit before the game to the people out there, both near and far?
No, I appreciate everyone who's tuning in, wherever you are, whether you're fans of the coaches, whether you're fans of all the players all around the world watching this stream. Again, very grateful for you to bring it to all of these families that are situated in all the globe. And thank you to all the fans that come out every week or support us on the stream. It's just awesome, and we're going to play for you for the rest of the season and hopefully pick up some more wins.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Coach. Of course, the head man, Coach Joel DeCastri, coming aboard with us. We're going to jump out for a quick break. Kickoff scheduled for 7:30, Coach? Is that what we're saying?
7:30.
7:30. All right, come right on back.
Florida Fairgrounds, we welcome you to Gene Cox Stadium in Tallahassee tonight as our Battle Lions host Valdosta FC. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ben Grubbs. The voice of Tallahassee soccer, Andrew Jupe, will join us momentarily. The Battle Lions return home after a midweek trip to Bay County. That trip saw TSC defeat LAX FC by a score of 5-0. Now back in Leon County tonight, the Battle Lions face an opponent in Valdosta that could pose a distinct threat to TSC's playoff hopes. The Lowndes County side has had mixed results this season, but did manage to steal a point from Panama City Beach, who sit level in the table with Tallahassee. Given the tight contest at the top of the Eastern Division, the Battle Lions realistically cannot afford a draw in what could be an intriguing matchup. And here to bring you all the action from tonight's game is the voice of Tallahassee soccer, Andrew Jupe.
All right, welcome aboard here to TSC Live. Hello, bienvenidos, guten tag to however you may be joining us from around the world, both for our players' families and the rest of you out there here today, of course. Welcome to the beautiful Gene Cox Stadium, as Ben said here, the pride of Leon County here in the capital of the Sunshine State. Andrew Jupe, Ben Grubbs, Natalie Ever going to bring you the action here tonight of what we're expecting to be is a fun-filled, entertaining showcase, which we are most excited to bring you here. Tallahassee and Valdosta, Battle of the East. Of course, both of these teams meeting for the first time this season and met a lot of times last year, Ben. 3 times these two teams paired up and went against each other. So this is the first time for this season. We're only going to schedule a 2, though there is a potential still for us to play in the 3rd, but that would have to be via the postseason, of course, with the increased slate. So as we take a look of what we have going on here in the table, what does this mean for the implications of heading towards those playoffs, as we alluded to? So technically, to start the day, these are your 3rd and 4th place teams here in the East. So, of course, Tallahassee is ahead of PSC, PCBFC on goal differential, but, of course, the head-to-head goal differential advantage goes to PSC. So, for the time being, on a points-per-match basis, we'll see how that changes. But here tonight, this could be a big shift up in the table. And to your point, Ben, if Tallahassee's really considering trying to hunt down that number 1 seed here in the East to host that midweek game, the second week of July, you know, they're in a points race with the other 2 teams who are playing on Wednesday, which we'll get into, as you can see, PFC and PSC, PCBFC. So, Ben, of course, which got you excited here for tonight? What do our Battle Lions need to do to get this thing off and rolling successfully?
Well, first of all, we want to talk about flexibility. This is a Valdosta side. They've been kind of up and down, and you look at that, they've got 7 points from 6 games played. They've managed to beat Panama City Beach, who, like you just alluded to, you know, they won 1, we won 1, but overall they've got the head-to-head goal difference on us. So the fact that they were able to get that 0-0 draw shows that this Panama City side has this Valdosta FC side has something to offer. So, you know, take those first few minutes, kind of see what they're giving you and adjust your strategy. You don't want to get too locked in. And then second is be aggressive. This is a game, like we alluded to earlier, you have to realistically get the full 3 points in this game, so you got to go on the attack. You got to be aggressive and go for the win. And finally, connect with the crowd. Last time we were here, we saw a dramatic 1-1 result, last-minute goal from Caleb Ellisine to pull out the result against Pensacola. The crowd was into it. I'm sure you heard us on the broadcast. We were super into it. So get the crowd into the game with some good, aggressive, energetic play early. Get them on your side to will you towards that 3 points that hopefully will launch us into the postseason.
Absolutely, yeah. You think of it or liken it to those who have been following the World Cup, the U.S. playing last night, right? Of course, getting in there early and often, have the aggressive play, because typically going back to that game, the Pensacola game that you referenced, Ben, Tallahassee had been put out early, and most of those games you get into the second half or later second half, you're down 2-0, and so naturally people start to file out when you don't kind of grab them where you're having a tough go at it. So they were able to fire it up, keep the game interesting. It was intense. They were battling and going with the crowd. So hopefully, I mean, if we could replicate like a performance that we saw out in Los Angeles last night by the national team here by the men, I think that would be good by me, Ben. But let's check out Tallahassee's recent form. Talk about form of play. I say not so bad, Ben. What you think?
Yeah, looking pretty good. That that Panama City Beach road result stings, especially they were able to get that one goal at home to take that head-to-head goal difference. But yeah, overall pretty good. You lost that game to Panama City Beach, but you respond with a win against Mobile. You did the double over the Azaleas, and then you respond and you take out Panama City Beach in the return game. So that's good to see. And then Pensacola, wild game, as I'm sure you all remember, with the red cards. But, down a goal, down a man, Tallahassee comes back to get the draw, and now we're looking forward to, obviously, the game tonight, but then Sunday night, the return leg of the 850 Cup over in Escambia County. And then finally, LAXFC having a tough year, 5 games, no points. They've just really been getting hammered, and sure enough, we took it to them with a 5-0 result. So coming into tonight's game, looking good.
Absolutely. And so that Pensacola game, for those of you who tune into the broadcast or we're here at the Gene taking place, if we're going to keep the World Cup metaphor going, that had kind of Mexico, South Africa feel to it, the way the cards were flying around, as they always do. Second consecutive year that match finished 10-10 here in Tallahassee. So let's get into it. Let's talk a little bit about the visitors here. Valdosta, a little bit of a tough run last year, but Valdosta's on the up and up this year, Ben. They've been able to get some results, and I feel like the quality of the team is up, the play of the team is up, and they start to be, in my opinion, hitting their groove here in year 2 within the league as a franchise. How do you see it?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Starting off, that draw with PCBFC was huge for them, after a really tough season to respond. And early on, we didn't really – this is a newer team. We didn't know a whole lot about this Panama City Beach squad. But now that 0-0 draw looks even more impressive in hindsight. Getting the win against Pensacola Academy, always good to get that result. Tough to lose the return leg, but, that's on the road at Panama City Beach, and it's a tight game. So, that's within a good realm of possibility for this Valdosta. Obviously, the Pensacola result is tough, 6-0. It's tough to overcome that. But, it says a lot about the quality of that Pensacola squad as well, especially when taken in the context of the other Valdosta results. And then you look at LAXFC, who's a side having similar results this year to kind of what Valdosta was struggling with the year before, and they were able to take it to LAXFC. So, yeah, clear signs of progress for Valdosta.
Yeah, absolutely. So it'll be interesting to see how things settle down. And as we kind of circle back to the table, they're right behind us. So theoretically, if things go according to plan for Valdosta, I don't know, based on the mathematics, Ben, if they would be jumping for us as they would get up to 10 points. And Tallahassee's sitting currently at 13. But they would definitely make it more interesting. Could not pass Tallahassee, but would be interesting to see how that one goes and narrow the gap, Ben, as, of course, our resident accounting numbers man. What you got? What would be that projected points per match if they were able to get the full 3 here tonight?
Yeah, it's looking like if Valdosta won tonight, they would get 1.43 points per game. And obviously, then Tallahassee loses. We would be at 1.85. So we'd still be ahead of them. But again, we're looking forward. We're looking at the top. That's where we're aiming. We're looking at that gap to Pensacola and Panama City Beach.
Absolutely, of course, because the bigger picture of what we want to see the playoffs here, Ben. And, of course, if we projected it today, same of how we started last weekend, of course, with the tiebreakers due to the head-to-head. Currently, Tallahassee and PCBFC have the same amount of points, have the same amount of matches played, have the same points per match. So we'll see how things go down the line. But as it stands, they would get that playoff spot here. The all-important number 2 in the East. Of course, everything's still on the table. I think the top 4 teams in the East all have a chance still to go 1 through 4. So while you would project through there and you feel good about Pensacola and some of those other teams, nothing's locked down necessarily 100%. So there's still a lot of flow going. And you start to see some of these squads like a Valdosta, like a Mobile, really kind of coming into form and going to make things interesting down the stretch. But as we go through here, we're going to step for the national anthem.
Thank you, LLA.
All right, so there you go. National anthem off and away, which means we're just moments away from kickoff, and that's something to get excited for here for Tallahassee, of course, as we get us rolling here today. Let's get into the starting lineups, Ben, if you want to give us the lowdown of what we got going here.
Sure thing. In goal, number 1, Julian Marcos. At right back, number 4, Jeremy Cuppa. Right wing, number 7, Bennett Mitchell. Attacking midfield, Joao Felipe Almeida. At left back, number 10, Imti Kamaldeen. At forward, number 12, Diego Sanchez. Defensive midfielder, number 14, Joe Warren. Defensive midfielder, number 15, Luciano Chiaffini. Forward, number 16, Braden Paul. Left wing, number 20, Connie Tolentino Perry. And at center back, number 23, Cole Greenshields.
And there we go. So those are the boys starting off here. And you can see we got the Max Splash uniforms for the field players. And then the Regal Red Field for Julian Marcos, who's starting in between the pipes, like you said today, Ben. So a beautiful showcase of the uniforms going on here today. I got to say, I like those Max Splash uniforms. Of course, sponsored by the Max Shack. You have those little gold, almost like you drop some mac and cheese on the shirt, but it's there by design. So, as we get ready to kick things off here from the Eugene Cox Stadium, I want to remind you, as we like to do, of course, while we appreciate all our viewers coming in from all over the world, and depending who you're rooting for, we can't not go ahead and issue the trigger warning. Of course, for those of you unfamiliar with the program, this is a Tallahassee organized and operated broadcast, so this will be a partisan broadcast, so hence the trigger warning that we'll be going to provide for you. Of course, we'll give respect to the opponents, and those of you who've been around the Gulf Coast Conference know we will do so, but of course, you have the power, and maybe this is just an empowerment, because as you look down, if you're a Valdosta person or you just find the commentating irritating, you have the power to hit that mute button and you enjoy the show of the visual here. So take that as you will. But as we get going, of course, this is by TSC for the TSC community. But thank you for coming aboard here with us. Bienvenidos. Hello. Guten Tag. Of course, to the families of those TSC fans near and far. We're getting ready to get it on. Number 4, number 3 in the East. Of course, Valdosta in the pink striped uniforms here tonight. And like we said, Tallahassee in white. Valdosta's going to get us going to start things off, Ben. They're going to be going from right to left, south to north geographically, and Tallahassee will be going opposite as we have cleared the weather. Hopefully we will be clean sailing the rest of the way, as of course we are at a late start, as you can tell. It is well beyond 7 o'clock, and we are off and rolling. Valdosta, it gets us underway here from Gamecock Stadium. So we'll see what we have here from Tallahassee. We're coming off a big 5-0 win on the road. Back here in the home stadium, Tallahassee, a little change-up of the personnel going forward for what we have today. A couple injuries being picked up, and then you always got to factor in some of those mid-season issues such as cards and other things that we may see. So always good to keep an eye on everything here. So we have an early foul. That one's going to be called on Green Shields, our physical center back here for Tallahassee, who had a great game out on the road a couple days ago. It seems like, man, just Wednesday. Of course, also got to appreciate two big goal scorers, which we will see both of them in the starting lineup. Joe Warren as well as Diego Sanchez, each scoring a little double trouble on the road Wednesday. So we're taking quite some time to get this thing rolling.
Yeah, I think there was a. We'll let this free kick go.
Service into the box, and Julian's going to scoop this one up and be good to go. As we have a couple jersey changes going here. Julian's going to move to the number 22 jersey. This one's dropped back here to the right back. Tallahassee going with that 3-2-3-2 that has been really successful so far for them this season since they've been rocking that. Great service out of the back by Joe Warren here to Bennett Mitchell, team captain. Depth-wise, he's about 10 yards from goal. Circles it back here to Braden Paul, the Wakulla Wunderkind. And it's back to Paul. Chiaffini with a touch. Swung around to Kuppa. The Leipzig man switches it on over to Kamaldeen, who's back from his red card suspension from the the Pensacola match here in Tallahassee last week. Service on over the top, looking for Connie, but able to get on the end of it is Kamaldeen. Centers it back here, trying to have some work here. Sanchez turning back. Nice rip on goal. This one's going to be deflected out here by Valdosta, and they'll look to go on the counterattack. On out to the near side, shuffled back around. Good step here to get that one out of danger. Joao Almeida.
Good energetic game so far. Both teams looking to go at it.
And here's Joao back on the ball. Got some good minutes in that road match. Trying to find his way in here for some good home action. I believe his first start of the season. Kamaldeen looking for some service. Able to find that through. Gets all the way to Mitchell again. That's the second time. Sends it back looking for Diego in the box. And he's a great aggressive forward who is dangerous in those attacking third areas. So as much as we can get Sanchez on top of it, we definitely want to go for that 100%.
Absolutely, and the wings are looking wide open so far. Very promising for the Battle Lions.
That's going to be an early corner kick. Of course, Chiaffini, the expert, going to give us the corner here from the near side. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger here in the 4th minute. Early opportunity for Tallahassee. Hit Sanchez, looking to go back post. They claim deflection, and they're going to get awarded that deflection here as we go back for a Tallahassee corner, but on the opposite side.
Yeah, good find at the back post, and he had a very good look at goal there, so very promising early for Tallahassee. Looks to be an in-swinger here for the Battle Lions. All lined up in the goal, probably to put some pressure on the goalkeeper. As you see, they're in tight, looking to go for the Olympico. And what you want to do there, you're kind of crowding the goalkeeper and also make it tough for the defenders, because sometimes you'll see guys run out. They don't necessarily know who to track. But in that case, it was just keeping it tight on the goalkeeper, make it tough to mark. Now we'll see Valdosta try and get their foot on the ball. See if he plays it short or plays it long. Looking to be a long kick as the Valdosta players get forward, trying to get it out of their own third. They've been under pressure for the last few minutes. Long ball into the midfield, won by Tallahassee's Joe Warren. Here on this near side, Mitchell tries to bring it down, but it's a tough control. Or excuse me, not Mitchell, Paul. They switch sides. Switch positions, I should say. Out of bounds, another Valdosta throw. Long throw in here, and remember, you're not off sides on a throw in. Valdosta looking early, passed into the middle, still looking for it, and a good interception there as now Tallahassee's on the counterattack. Looking to bring it forward is KTP. He's just checked up there by a Beha, and will go out of bounds for a Tallahassee throw. Good little sequence there for Valdosta, showing their attacking threat. Now Tallahassee will look to settle it down. Mitchell open here on this near side. He's making a run. Cuppa doesn't quite have the angle. Was closed down there by Harmon of Valdosta. Some good high pressure here from Valdosta. As that pass is intercepted, played wide. Tallahassee back on the ball. And it's intercepted there. No foul. Oh, now there's the whistle from the referee. It'll be a free kick for Valdosta. Pleading his innocence is Chiafini. The referee unimpressed, giving him the cut-it-out hand signal. And Valdosta will get their second free kick of this game early on, just 6.5 minutes into the contest. Almost all the Valdosta players up. And Swinger, good header away from KTP, but the ball, it's pinball in the box, and it's a goal early for Valdosta. Xavi Andre got the rebound in, and Valdosta takes the early lead here in the 7th minute. It's a goal off a free kick, and not what you want to see if you're Tallahassee. It was just chaos in the box. Did a good job to win the initial header, but if you don't get it clear, you're probably going to be punished, and that's exactly what happened. It just sat up perfectly, clocked it in off the rebound, and Valdosta has taken the early lead. Tallahassee now looking to respond, and they quickly do, playing a long ball forward, and it's a good one forward to KTP. It's now playing into the box. Sanchez, that surely fouled. Yep, there we go. Okay, good call from the referee. Was worried he wasn't going to call that for a second, but sure enough, and this sets up really nicely for someone like Chiafini to get a strike on goal and for Tallahassee to try and level this thing.
Yeah, absolutely, and then some hairy moments. And, Ben, that's exactly what we talked about. We said, hey, this is a dangerous Valdosta team. Take them seriously. They're on the up and up, and when you give it an opportunity, get up those free kicks like we've seen in all levels of soccer here, those set plays can create dangerous situations. Luckily, Tallahassee a chance of their own to respond. So you have Joe Warren and Diego Sanchez here on top of it. Sanchez has been one of the leaders here to kind of take these kicks, and typically Sanchez is going for goal if he goes after it. Because both players in form, Ben, coming off 2-goal performances on the road just on Wednesday, both with 3 goals, and are tied for the Tallahassee Soccer Club Golden Boot as the time goes. Sanchez is going to try to bend it, and he does so incredibly there to that far post. And just like that, Tallahassee's going to tie it up. And Diego Sanchez puts in his 4th one of the season. It's a TSC goal! Early excitement here from the Gene, Ben, and we're level once again. About 2 minutes of disruption within the scoreboard, but we're just how we started here after the 10th minute goal here from Diego Sanchez.
Yeah, talk about a response. I mean, you can't do much better. Goalkeeper absolutely rooted to his spot. There was nothing he could have done on that one. It was just perfect placement from Sanchez, and now we sit here level at 1-1.
And so you feel like Diego's been dialing that one in all season, Ben. He's had a bunch of them. It's just over the top, just to the right, and he got exactly the mark that he wanted. I think he even had 2 good ones on the road last week, but able to put that one in, and now Tallahassee Valdosta back to level pegging and some good excitement. This is what you want from a soccer game. I don't know if either of the coaches would like an early concession, but I think as a fan, you want to see goals, you want to see excitement, and you want to see the players having some creative and inspirational moments, and I think we can check that box as we are 1/9 of the way through tonight's action, Ben.
Absolutely, as we see a foul here. Xavi Andre going down, holding his stomach.
So we have a couple area games going on, which we try to do our best in. Keep you posted on, Ben, so we'll be dipping into those, see how we're going with each of our contests, as we have, 2 other matches going on tonight? Of course, we have all the Western action going here, and then 1 Western game, 1 Eastern game going on, or 2 Western games, 1 Eastern game, which we'll get into. You can see him down in your ticker here below, but here's Sanchez. He's on another one. This is going to be a free kick again, and ref might be going to the pocket. This is a last defender situation.
It could be red.
It could be red by the letter of the law. Last defender could see it. And I think they want a conference of what we have going on.
Yeah, sideline official is gesturing to the head referee to come discuss it. Valdosta pleading their case, but to our eye on first look, I did not see another defender between Sanchez and the goal, and usually that indicates a red card is coming.
So they're going to have a little conference. This is about as close as we'll get to VAR here in the lower leagues, Ben.
Absolutely. Yeah, we only they could rewind our feed. You know, they can come up here if they want. We'll show it to them.
They can. They can rewind the feed. So run it back a couple minutes. Watch it for yourself if you want to. You could probably even slow down the speed, I believe.
Yeah. Let us know in the chat. Be your own VAR official.
Yes.
That's what we say.
Yes.
Referee still has not made a decision. And here he's only getting a yellow. Interesting. I thought for sure that I don't remember seeing another defender, and usually that's a red card, but Coach Joel vehemently disagrees.
So yellow for Rodriguez. So something to keep an eye on as we get that yellow picked up here early. Always hairy when your defenders get in the book early in the first half. But once again, it's going to present another opportunity for a free kick, though it will be a little farther out than the previous one. This one's going to be about 29 yards from goal. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I'd say that's a good estimate. Yeah, you got to remember, you can see the football markers, but remember the goal is at the back of the end zone.
Plus 10.
Plus 10. Coach Joel there still having words to just putting his head on the official's shoulder, just really letting him know how distraught he is. Do you know the emotional toll this is taking on me?
So early motion coming here for Tallahassee. Chiaffini's going back post. Green Shields tries to get the second ball, and we have 2 crashers going into the box, but offside flag is up. So it wouldn't have mattered anyways, Ben.
Yeah, but still good to see some free runners going in there. You know, just got to time that up a little better. But, yeah, need to get a little bit more mustard on that to get it past the goalkeeper.
And so we have a little bit of a tough go here with Valdosta as we have received 2 different rosters. One roster was given to us earlier in the day, and the other roster has a number of duplicates. So we will go with our initial roster. So for those Valdosta people, apologies if that's incorrect. Feel free to let us know in the chat. Feel free to give us the chat action regardless for anybody coming in here today, to be honest. So we get it going here. Looking for some service from Paul, who's back in 16. He's been kind of yo-yoing between 16 and 9 number jersey, but pretty consistent here for Tallahassee. As KTP getting another touch there. Valdosta looking to counter, head up, and they've got numbers here on the near side, surging forward. but he may be in an offside position, so he's got to try to pull back. But a nice win by Jeremy Cupp as he's able to scoop that out, but he said not before it goes out of play. And so it'll be Valdosta throwing here in the near side. As Mattis on an adventurous run there for Valdosta. Big throw into the box. Had to have that win by Kummeldine. KTP able to clear this one out. Tried to dump it back in field, and admittedly, nicely done here by Valdosta. Kummeldine tried to get the secondary clearance, and Sanchez will flick this one on. Step by the defense, and looking to go is Mattis, and it'll be a little too far forward and off and out of play.
Going to be a player we want to watch tonight is Mattis. You know, you saw those driving runs forward and then that incredible throw-in. I mean, we thought PSC, PCBFC had a long throw, but this one might be even better.
Indeed. And apologies, that is not Mattis. I thought it was a 6. It's actually a 5.
Excuse us.
So Razak was the one, the provocateur. But here's Sanchez feeling like another one. Heavy challenge, but ball was gotten, so
and goalkeeper needs to be careful there. He was on the edge of the box as a yellow card has been issued to the Valdosta captain.
So that was not the player, I believe, in the challenge.
No, did you?
Because it was 22 that made the sliding effort, and then the secondary situation comes in here. And I'm trying to watch this back. And so I think there was a disagreement, shall we say, Ben. A lot of, as the kids would say, yapping at the ref there. So I think he was just kind of over it. And so gave him the yellow for, might have said one of the magic words, or maybe he just said too many words in general. Was that Pierce?
Yes.
Getting the yellow? So we have 2 cards in the book.
Pearson Rodriguez.
Indeed. 17 and 2.
It's half the back line already.
Yep.
Something to keep an eye out for is only, there's not many guys left who can get a card on that back line.
This one's going to be poke free. It looks to be last touch by Valdosta. Good challenge there by Sanchez, getting into the mix and poking that one off the defender. Drop back as Razak once again proving troublesome, but Tallahassee able to deal with it. Cuppa back to Green Shields, the center back, sends it through here to Joao, on around to Mitchell. Nice bit of control here for Sanchez. Gets it back through to Almeida. Centering ball here from Mitchell. KTP on the back, tries the volley, a little too tall as he cuts underneath of it, and it soars through the uprights out for a Valdosta goal kick.
Yeah, great cross across there from Bennett Mitchell. And as the ball comes into him, it kicks up a little bit as he takes a touch. And you can see he's leaning back as he takes a shot. And those are 99 times out of 100 going over the bar.
Yep. More often than not, to your point, Ben. Another 1-1 game, Gaffa and Mobile out there in Mississippi, evened up. You talk about a team finding a little bit of form here lately. How about Mobile, Ben, getting after it this season as they're continuing to progress on their bounce-back campaign?
Yeah, currently over in the West, Gaffa 1.4 points per game, Mobile 1.3. So if Mobile can find a winning goal in that one, you could see a flip in the playoff standings in the Western Division.
Indeed. This one tried to be centered through. Green Shield's going to dig this one out. Pass intended there for Naza. Good scoop there by Tallahassee to be on top of it. And Marcos gets another touch of the ball here. Limited action for him. Good pressure by Almeida. Joao looking to serve. Little chunky on the service, is going to be cleaned up here by Valdosta. Comes back against the grain, and a little bit too much of a heavy challenge for the referee's liking. It's going to be a free kick back here for the visitors. Looks like keeper's going to come out and take this one, Ben.
Yeah, probably trying to push a little higher up the field. They've been stuck in their own third the past couple minutes. Now they want to take the initiative in the game and get that second goal to take the lead. Because right now it's looking like Tallahassee is the more likely of the two sides to get that second goal.
Indeed. So this one, secondary ball won by Valdosta. Threading it through to the perimeter. Tanasi Shot on just over target, but a nice strike down the left-hand side, pull back, put on his right foot, and made Julian think about it just over the bar.
Yeah, and it's always funny you see those that hit the crossbar and then hit the net. We've got looks like a decent contingent of Valdosta fans, and I think they were slightly fooled by that one. It can be a bit of eye candy over there with that field goal upright right behind the net, but not a goal for the visitors. We're still level at 1.
There you go. And I think they have the no football uprights above their field up there in Hayhira, so not something that they're used to seeing up there at the complex just outside of Valdosta. Though I've heard we may be looking at a different venue for our return fixture, which we have settled on a new date that was supposed to take place on the 3rd of July, but due to some complications, there has been a change. Here comes Comaldine coming off the back line with an aggressive take. Tries to find KTP, and the challenge. We have Razek falling down to the turf, and will be a free kick here for Valdosta. They'll take this one quickly. Here on the advance, it's Harmon on the left-hand side. Step through, and some nice one-touch passing here for Valdosta. Andre, the goal scorer, trying to get it back on his right foot. Dug in and won well by Chiafini. And here's Almeida. Outside ball here to KTP. He has Paul on a vertical run. He has Diego making a nice diagonal. And it looks like offsides here. They're going to get Paul. Had the hand in the cookie jar there, it looks like, Ben.
Yeah, both of them just started the run a little bit too early on that one.
So, of course, once again, going to be a Valdosta free kick as this one comes out of the back. Of course, a couple other games looking to take place. Should be starting off momentarily, but as we reference that Gaffa Mobile game going on right now, and that one's approaching final, Ben. Still 1-1 into stoppage time. This one's going to be centered around here by Valdosta, on the way back. Swung around here to the back line. 23rd minute of action here in Tallahassee. Knotted up, goal apiece. Headed down here by Chiafini. Sprinkled on out to Tolentino Perry and kind of the intended recipient out there on the wing. It's a nice save by Comodine as he's able to scoop that back to Julian, who, of course, had the late change with the keeper kit. Wearing number 22 here today. Number 20 out on the wing, KTP. He's been a nice addition here to Tallahassee this season. Paul, great service. Crossfield to Mitchell, who's got some real estate now. Minute 24, looking for a centering ball. Couple of runners through the box, looking for Paul. It falls here for Almeida, and he rips it off the crossbar. And Joao with a nice effort, but just about 2 feet too tall, Ben.
Yeah, and if you want to get a good idea of the power behind that shot, look at how far it ricocheted. It went back to the edge of the 18-yard line.
Yeah, had some serious rip on that one. He loaded up into it just a little undercut. And that one will go back to a Valdosta goal kick. Long ball is going to be won by Tallahassee. Secondary ball by Cuppa. Chiafini in a little bit of a battle. Tried to loop it over top. Great ball by Joao. Makes the keeper come get it outside of the box, which he does. Plays an advancing ball, which actually has a halfway decent look for Abeja. And he heads it through, but Julian up to the task, and he'll scoop it off the turf. So that one got interesting, kind of out of nowhere, Ben.
Yeah, it really did. You know, a different bounce on that one in Valdosta could have been through on goal. They're still playing this high press. Good to see the aggression. Makes the game more exciting.
So shout out to Gallardini. Nice ball here. The keeper for Valdosta. This one's threaded through. Chiafini. Here to Almeida. To Bennett. Able to, that one goes over the line and will be out for a Valdosta throw. Tried to play it in. Looking for Diego. Trying to feed the beast. Of course, 4 goals on the Battle Lions season. He put in a number of them last year. So one of the most prolific goal scorers that the program has seen now that he's compounded a couple really successful seasons. Starts to put him in elite territory, Ben. We'll have to go to the record books and try to dig those up.
The old volumes.
You're going to start getting into some Kevin Lowe, Cousin Cy territory here as we have to go back into the record books if he continues this pace. Tallahassee's going to play out of the back. Through to Chiaffini, on up to Warren. Defender on his back, but he does well to escape. Diego, great comeback of the ball there. Nicely weighted pass by Joao here to Braden Paul. And BP trying to get an effort here on target with the left, but it bounces out. He'll spin back around. Here's Joao trying to turn the corner and threads it through nicely to Mitchell. Onsides. Bennett gets it to his favorite right foot, but slices it a little bit on the inside part of the ball, so it twists up and over that upper 90 here on the near post. And it'll be out for a Valdosta corner kick, and it looks like we will head to the hydration break. If you've been watching the World Cup, of course, the referees, though not required here in lower league, they do have the opportunity towards the middle part of the half. And Tallahassee has been under an extreme heat advisory today. So I'm all about player safety and them given the opportunity to go here and award that water break.
Absolutely, yeah. I want to keep these players safe. Having lived in Florida my whole life, I'm, as you know, many of our viewers have, or certainly in the southeast with our guests from Valdosta. You know how serious this heat is. So, yeah, good to have these water breaks. Keep the players safe.
What do you think of the action so far, Ben?
I think the word in the intro was intriguing, and it's definitely been intriguing, And we talked about how necessary it was to get this 3 points, and you're not really sure what Valdosta's going to bring. Well, they brought it tonight. They got that goal in the 7th minute, but then Tallahassee responds almost immediately in the 10th minute, and now we're level. Arguably should have been a red card for Valdosta, but the referees disagreed on that. Only a yellow card. And so we sit here level on the score sheet and level on the field. So, yeah, it really sets up well for the rest of the game so far. Both teams have looked good going forward. I think we're far from done here with the goals, and hopefully the ones that come in the rest of this game are coming from Tallahassee.
Indeed. Speaking of 1-1 matches, Ben, like we have here today, final out in Mississippi. Mobile and Gaffa have tied, so Mobile continues on their quest to tighten things up. And, Ben, it looks like Gaffa's going to hold on to second for the points per match, but margins are getting real close out west.
Yeah, it's now down to 1.38 for Gaffa and 1.29 for Mobile. So depending on how these last few games go, I mean, it's going to come down to the wire between these two sides.
So it'll be interesting to see. So like we said, Mobile on the up and up as Valdosta up and up here in the east. And it's making the races both more interesting because it was kind of a runaway train last year to have each of these squads going forward. You had Pensacola, Tallahassee in the east, and then you had Gaffa, Union 10, and it was really just an all-out runaway show. But it's a lot more interesting this year, and as we're just past the midway point, things are really picking up, and it's been an exciting journey thus far.
Absolutely. Nope. Bad pass out of the back. Braden Paul is immediately on it. Keeps it in play. Cuts
it back. Going to have a shot on goal there, so an opportunity, something out of nothing there for Braden Paul, and a good little rip by him to keep it rolling. Providing a little bit of an intrigue here is Paul, a nice attacking player. Always makes sure to make his presence felt. He's crafty, he's speedy, he's quick. He's fun, one of our born and bred Big Ben players here, Ben. Of course,
absolutely.
What was it, 3 years ago, I believe? The local newspaper Soccer Player of the Year. The Wakulla Wunderkind. Kamaldeen threads it through here to KTP. Tallahassee's got some numbers, but they're going to say offside once again. And And this one will be coming back.
Shows you how aggressive Tallahassee is being. I've lost count of the number of offsides. Just need to time it up a little bit better, and I think the goals are going to start coming for Tallahassee.
Yeah, really pushing that back line, Ben. Yeah, I'd much rather them keep pressing that line and get one through here as opposed to them playing a little more passively. They're going to go after it, and they're going to try to get it. And when they have an opportunity, they don't mind playing it over the top.
Absolutely. We've seen a little bit of a different strategy from Valdosta. Initially, they were just really hitting it forward right from the jump, but you've seen these past couple goal kicks. They've been playing them short, trying to bait Tallahassee forward and then hit it over the top, but so far Tallahassee has been wise to it.
This one's going to trickle back to Gallardini once again. Long ball is going to be won by Cuppa. Threaded through here by Valdosta, looking for a little combination play. And it looks like the other two games in the conference have kicked off. But, unfortunately, we don't know how much time in New Orleans. And early going 0-0, LAX hosting PCBFC. The 8-letter acronym in the East, currently holding the second position. So if playoffs started now at this moment, Tallahassee on the outside looking in. 32nd minute. Giaffini looking to launch here for Tallahassee. 4 players on the back post, 2 in the goal frame. Header, Braden Paul, initial save. Joe Warren, the fox in the box, and he dunks it in just like he did twice earlier this week on the road. So making sure everything stands, and it looks like we will. No violations. They say everything's good to go. So Joe Warren, he saw Diego score. He said, let me get my 4th of the season too, Diego. And it's a TSC goal here, minute 32. And Ben, we had another Christmas card get sent out while we were screaming.
Yeah, the goalkeeper, I think, felt he was pushed to the ground. I didn't necessarily see it. He was definitely on the ground, but I couldn't see how the contact was initiated. He's claiming he was pushed by a Tallahassee player, and he pushed his case a little bit too far, and he's now in the referee's book with a yellow card.
So there you go, another booking and another goal here for Joe Warren. Of course, him and Diego both 3 goals this week, Ben.
Can we count that as a hat trick? A weekly hat trick?
Yeah, aggregate hat trick.
Yeah.
We'll look into that.
I'll count it in my record book. You won't find it officially anywhere, but it's up here in my brain.
There you go. The old brain book. Some dangerous pages up there. As this one's going to be ripped away here, Braden Paul. But once again, Tallahassee putting the foot on the gas, giving it an opportunity to win a situation. Dangerous ball going in there. And cashes it in, as they have been an opportunistic squad here this season. Trying to thread it through, and this one's going to be won out by Cuppa. Here as we're about a third of the way home of this match. Marcos to Green Shields, who feels like a little bit of a quiet day from Cole, which I'm okay with here for the back line. You know, keep it in the midfield and in the attacking players.
Yeah, usually the less you hear from your defenders, the better the game is going for you.
So long ball over the top. Sanchez will win this one. Try to flick it on here for Paul. Secondary one's going to be won by Valdosta. Now they'll have an opportunity to counter. Played out here to the perimeter to Harmon here near side. 2 players in the box for Valdosta. Scooped out well by Cuppa. And the clearance really well done by the Leipzig man. Threaded through back to Bennett Mitchell. Looking for Braden Paul here on the wing, and it twists off the foot and out of play here for a Valdosta throw. But how about the scoop and kill there by Cuppa back at the back line? That was impressive, Ben.
Yeah, that was some really good skill from your defender. It's what you love to see, that your defender can, first stop the attack in its tracks and then absolutely kill it by getting it away, all in really just 2 touches.
Yeah, and I believe Cuppa was one of the 3 Battle Lion players to be nominated for the Conference Team of the Week last week. Of course, with Joe and Diego, which you would suspect, as KTP cutting back against the grain. And this is the weird thing about the turf. If you see a lot of players slipping, the turf does drain well, but typically you need some heavy rain as this offside's going to pull the battle line attack is back. So when we just get a little dusting like we had, Ben, or a little sprinkle, that sits on top of the turf, the way this specific turf drains with the filling. And so it's actually very slick out there. So as far as field conditions, this is probably the worst it can be. If it was more of a downpour, it may sound counterintuitive, but the heavier and more rain you get, it weighs it down and pushes through the artificial turf. So the footing actually gets better. So it's actually about as bad as it can get, if that makes sense. Just a little sprinkle is the worst recipe for footing in general, but especially here to be played soccer. Gumbledine out of the back line here for Tallahassee. On up to Cuppa, looking for the long ball over the top for Mitchell, the captain. And once again, Tallahassee offside, as the Valdosta line has been holding strong here tonight, Ben.
Yeah, it really has. And on that earlier one, I was watching Diego Sanchez as we were passing the ball in midfield. And, man, he's just back and forth, trying to curl those runs. And it's a delicate game because you don't want to get any inch you can on the defensive line. And, again, a lot of it's just a timing thing. You know, he's trying to anticipate the pass before his defender does. And sometimes if you just mistime it, it can result in an offside, which it has so far tonight.
There you go. So Battle Lions will bring it out of the back, tries to thread it through, and Connie in a nice spring of attack up here to Braden Paul. Thought about some service, but draws it back here to Joe Warren, fresh off the score. Looking for KTP on the perimeter, but it's going to be deflected out of play here by Valdosta. Looks to be last touched by Marin on the far side. Now Warren's going to cut this one back. It hits the corner of the 6-yard box, but Valdosta will scoop this one up as Rodriguez wants to go. Cuppa traps it in. Nice little back heel from Sanchez. Great 1-2 from Tallahassee. Oh, ball gets caught underneath of him, and he scoops it wide past the far post. But great build up there from Tallahassee.
Yeah, it really was. That's just great possession. That's what you want to see from your forward players. And, yeah, as he's carrying the ball, he wants it to come out a little more. Probably would have liked to have taken an extra touch, but he had the defender on him quickly, so he just kind of had to shoot it, and it unfortunately was scuffed wide.
But good little build-up. Reminded me of that U.S. game last night with a little back heel, little one-touch back to him. Had an opportunity at goal. Liking what I'm seeing from the Battle Lions, and they're keeping the aggressiveness, Ben. And so going down 1-0, foot on the pedal, but then continuing to press on, not satisfied with being drawn even, not satisfied with the goal lead. Push, 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 push. And I like what we're seeing here in the second sequence of the first half, post-water break. Spilled out to KTP, gets to the corner of the 18, but he'll circle it all the way back to the Tallahassee back line. We've got the 3-back going here. Long ball looking for Mitchell, and that's been a successful move. And not just here tonight, but all season. That's been with the formation that they've run in, that outside channel that Mitchell has been attacking. He's had a lot of real estate all season long, and it's led to some really exciting build-up and play here from Tallahassee ever since really match day 3, which they've really leaned into that tactically. Scoop back here to Chiafini, who's playing a little pseudo-defense. Through to Paul, up to KTP. And Connie's able to root this one back to Paul. Back heels it to KTP. 25 yards from goal here to Joe Warren. He's now 20 yards from goal. Heavy touch. He's going to have to chase it down, but he's able to scoop it back. Able to control. Back to Cuppa. He's 25 yards from goal. Centering ball looking for Diego. Paul also in the area. Headed out and cleared. It's an instant Valdosta counterattack. Nice chase by Comodine. Cleanly done as he scoops the ball and dumps it out of play. Looked to be deflected by Valdosta, but they say Nazi did not touch it, so to be out for a throw from the visitors of the Azalea City.
So we've got 2 Azaleas in this Eastern Division.
Yes, and both have flowers in their crest, Ben. I wish that they would be each other's cross-divisional rivalry. Seems kind of like low-hanging fruit. The Battle of the Azaleas are the flower war or something. They can workshop a name.
Interesting here on this near side. Kamal Dean went down, had to get new shoes, and now he's got a mismatched pair. He's got white on the left and black on the right.
Always good to have multiple.
Yeah.
Options are good, Ben.
Yeah, we'll see how that impacts the performance. Does it enhance his powers at all?
I'm always looking for some enhanced powers.
Low shot down into the corner there by Almeida, but the Valdosta keeper is wise to it, and we stay at 2-1.
5 minutes and change coming here in the first half, so we'll probably get a couple minutes of stoppage time, though they are very conservative here with the first half stoppage, but of course getting a hydration break as Chiafini goes for a little jump up. And he's going to have some contact here, some words exchanged.
A little shove thrown from Valdosta. Referee just telling everyone to cool it down. This isn't the 850 Cup.
Notably, a couple different referee differences from that match last week, for what it's worth. That's a nice little high point there by Valdosta's head coach. I know the Englishman, typically known for his foot skills, the childhood neighbor of our head coach, Joel DeCastri, but good little lock it in there. I mean, I guess you live in South Georgia long enough, you get into the American football, Ben.
As Coach would say, still got it.
Still got it. So it's going to be a Valdosta free kick after some contact and shenanigans. 36 yards from goal. Width-wise, it's about halfway between the 6-yard box and the 18-yard box. But, of course, depth-wise, we're about 2 18-yard boxes out. So it'll be quite some way. So you can expect some service coming from Pierce here. 4 Valdosta players on that Tallahassee backline. They're going to play it short, have a go from 35, but it's a chip out of the rough right to Julian. It looks like there was a miscommunication with Valdosta wanting something different out of the run than what they had received.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It looked like, not sure what number that is there in the middle, but it looked like he was expected to cut in just a little bit more. It was probably like all the TSC offsides, just a timing thing that didn't work out.
Thread through nicely, weighted ball to hit the attack, and that's Andre, the goal scorer here for Valdosta. He's going to be hounded by Green Shields, and good win by the Scotsman to dump that one out of play. But we know Valdosta has a long throw here in the mix, and it looks like they will elect to do so, and here comes their specialist, Razek, to give it a ride. So this has proved problematic here. Some of these set plays and these long throws for the opposition this season. Good win by Green Shields. Solid call off, dumps this one. Joao off the deflection. Good step by Joe Warren. And way to keep his feet clean, too. Threads it through, looking for the other prolific goal scorer. Sanchez here this season, but a little too strong. And will go out for a Valdosta throw.
He didn't touch that. Yep, okay, there we go. I was about to say, Warren didn't touch that. That should be a Tallahassee throw, and it is. Mitchell to take this one. Playing it into Warren.
Back to Comaldine around the back line. Coming back towards the near side. Guppa back to Green Shields. The University of Kentucky Wesleyman. Long ball over the top, and there's that cross field to Mitchell that we were talking about a couple minutes ago. Back to Cuppa. Secondary service, threads it through, able to hit Paul. Little 1-2 with himself off of Valdosta, and Tallahassee have a throw in roughly 20 yards from goal.
Looking like maybe 1 minute of stoppage time. I'm just seeing this fourth official going to talk to both coaches. Oh, no, 2 minutes, excuse me. 2 minutes, he's saying.
So abbreviated. I think there's that threatening weather, Ben, so they really do want to try to move this thing along. If they can. We've seen some thunderstorms pop down already here. That's why we had the 30-minute delay to start things off. Good win by Warren. And Mitchell looking to save that one. What'll be Off and out of play for Valdosta, who makes sure to usher him out of play. Long throw looking for Andre. Green Shields does well. Cuppa, nice fake to turn it back against the grain. Well done, but it's going to be picked off by Valdosta. Opportunity County. Harmon tried the centering ball. Got to be on top of it here inside the box. Dangerous living threaded through, but Marcos up to the task, and he'll keep it out of danger for Tallahassee.
Yeah, some last-ditch defending there from Tallahassee as a little Marco's just holding on to that ball a little bit, trying to get to halftime with the lead. But yeah, it was a little on ice skates there for Tallahassee for a second. A little dicey, but we came through it.
Yep, absolutely.
And it's not over yet.
Another wayward pass going into the center of the park, and this slide's going to be cleared out. And it looks like ref is going to call a free kick here on the Warren slide. Is on Razek, number 5. He's been one of those dangerous attacking players that we highlighted for Valdosta. Is there towards the center of the park. So this will be a really dangerous one that'll get in before halftime.
I'd like to see a replay on that one.
As we try to go back to the delayed feed, see if we can go back in time. I don't know that we'll get the zoom that we're looking for. As it was definitely outside the box. I think that's not an arguable point. I think Valdosta's looking for a card.
Yeah, it's definitely a foul. I don't know that it
Maybe
gets
justified.
to the level of a card. I don't know.
It may be yellowable, Ben.
It may be yellow? Okay.
No, I don't think Warren got much, if any, ball there, so that was player there. So, I could kind of see Valdosta's viewpoint there. We'll try to go back and see what it looks like on film, if we could blow it up bigger during the break. But dangerous free kick, 21 yards out, over top of it. Wall eats it well.
Trying to replicate the Sanchez free kick, but the Tallahassee Wall stood firm.
Indeed. Nazi on the attempt there for Valdosta. Number 14, service coming over on the far side. Abiha, this will be a left-footed in-swinger. So keep an eye on this one. Long over the top, centering ball, dug out well here by Cuppa. Looking for some service. He has a little bit of time in the box. Finds Sanchez right on top of that Charles Timberwolf logo on the attacking side for Tallahassee. Great ball over to Joe Warren here on the near side, 30 yards from goal. He'll go into the 18, puts it back on his left. Shot attempt looking for upper 90. Twist just wide, but a great build-up. Excellent ball. Tallahassee, last-ditch opportunity here before the break, and they'll head us into halftime. Battle Lions with the lead.
Yeah, and it was a good hold-up play there from Sanchez to then find Warren, who cut it inside and just couldn't quite wrap his foot around it to give Tallahassee what would have been a 3-1 lead. But as it stands, we go into the half 2-1, looking good for the Battle Lions.
Absolutely. So a couple other games going on here. If we try to get you an update right before the halftime break, it looks like we can't see what the score is in New Orleans. Union 10 battling them, but still 0-0 between Lax and PSC. So we'll try to keep an eye on things. But, of course, like Ben said, 2-1 here. Halftime at Gene Cox Stadium. Take a quick commercial break. Come right on back.
From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, Our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. You can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated team is here for you every step of the way. With a patient-centered approach and unparalleled orthopedic and sports medicine care, our team of 70-plus physicians and providers are here to help you live a healthy and active lifestyle. With over 225,000 patient visits a year and servicing North Florida and South Georgia, you can trust TOC for all of your orthopedic needs. From getting back in the game to getting back to exploring all this life has to offer, our dedicated.
All right, and welcome back here to the capital city of the Sunshine State, Tallahassee, Valdosta, getting after it here for match day 7 for Tallahassee as they get it going on. Fun contest here so far. Of course, Tallahassee, 2-1 advantage as we go to the break. Ben, quick recap for those just joining us. First half.
Yeah, well, match day number 7 and a lucky number 7 so far for Tallahassee with the 2-1 advantage. Did not start out that way, though, as Xavi Andre got a 7th-minute goal for the Azaleas, the Valdosta Azaleas, not to be confused with the Mobile Azaleas, as we're underway here in the second half. But a quick response from Tallahassee, a free kick from Diego Sanchez, and then followed by a goal off a corner kick from Joe Warren in the 32nd minute, and that is why we stand 2-1 here at the half.
Absolutely. So we will switch sides of the field. Tallahassee in all white, Valdosta in all pink. Tallahassee going right to left on your screen. Valdosta, of course, going the opposite, left to right and or north to south geographically. So like you said, Ben, Tallahassee since minute 32 has led by a goal. Looks like a little bit of a personnel change here for Tallahassee, but Braden Paul inside the box, and did he poach one? Looks like the offside flag stays down. So Braden Paul, it's been a minute, but he's back on the score sheet. His, I believe, second TSC goal here. Minute 46, and correction, Ben, third goal of the season for Braden Paul. He had the double delight against Mobile to open things up, lest I forget.
Third goal of the season and third goal tonight. Not his third goal of the night, but the third goal of the night for the Battle Lions. And, yeah, what a great way to start the half. Joe Warren poking that pass through, and now the Battle Lions take a 3-1 lead. And it's starting to look difficult here for Valdosta to get back into this one. But still a whole half of soccer left to play.
That was a Joe Warren-esque goal, too, that little poke through as you bring him up. Get in there, take care of business, put it in the back of the net. And that's what we like, how we want to start things out. Only change here for Tallahassee, as you saw Zuri going to step in on the back line here for Cole Green Shields. So, good to see Big Z back into it. He's going to fall into that center back, so it looks like to be a clean swap. Kemmeldean's going to stay on the left, and Couple's going to stay over on the right. Of course, you have Chiafini and Warren dropping into that defensive midfield, as this one's going to be played over the top here for Sanchez. It's Sanchez and Paul up top still. In that kind of that attacking midfield, you have KTP on the left wing. Center, you have Joao, and you have over on that right side, Bennett Mitchell. So only change Zuri, and then, of course, Julian Marquez still in between the pipes for your Tallahassee Battle Lions. So, of course, you got to give, start to talk about, I know game management's a little bit of a hot topic these days, Ben, but you look at these slate of games, and you're going to have, I believe, an 8-day span where Tallahassee's going to have 3 matches. So, something to kind of come into consideration. Luckily, the road trips won't be that significant. You have Alta Pensacola, Valdosta, and then a home game here in between the two.
Yeah, you might see as this game progresses, maybe some more subs from Coach Joel to kind of rest some legs as it becomes, more difficult for Valdosta to get back in the game. But, the best way to help that out is to keep scoring more goals, extend that out to maybe a 4-1 or a 5-1, hopefully, and make it a little easier on Coach Joel to make those subs.
There you go. I like where your head's at, Ben. That's what we're talking about. This one's going to be put back to Julian centrally and cycle us around over the top. Valdosta's going to win this one back to Razik, and they'll thread it through. But Joe Warren up to the task there. Long ball looking for KTP. One back by the Azalea City men, and a confrontation, and that's a little bit of physics at play there. You have Big Joe Warren and a much smaller Andres Abeja, and collision and fall. Sometimes that's how it's go. Usually the bigger tree is a little harder to uproot than the sapling. This one's going to go throw long. Good fight there by Kamaldeen to shield out of danger and let it go for a Tallahassee goal kick. Of course, 50th minute already, second half goal, like we saw from Braden Paul. So nothing like that home cooking, Ben. All three of Paul's goals coming at home this season.
Absolutely, yeah. It's, he wants to give the home crowd a show, and he has more than delivered on that promise.
Absolutely. Of course, it's different playing here in the Big Bend. Of course, when you're out here at the Gene, the Coliseum of football for non-collegiate athletics here in the Big Bend of Florida, as this one's played through, and Gallardini, 25 yards from goal, 7 to 10 yards outside of his box, tried to thread it through. Zuri with a nice shield, and is going to pick this one up in play once he recognizes the pressure. Great play to throw it in there and deflect it off of Valdosta, so he wins a goal kick. Savvy move by Zuri because he realized he was going to get into a throwing situation. He knows they have the weapon, a long throw. He's like, oh, let me not just play it out here. I'll turn it back centrally to kind of keep this thing alive. So that's actually a really big heads-up play there by Zuri. I love that.
Yeah, it is, because for Valdosta, a throw-in is almost equivalent to a corner.
Yep.
And, yeah, even better skill is he's falling down to play it off the Valdosta guy and get a goal kick out of it.
Scooped out here by Warren, looking to go on the counterattack, jumping through the sliding midfielders. He's now passed up 3 Valdosta players. A little deflection here with KTP. Back to Kamaldeen. Nice little turn and spin there. As this one's going to be picked off, though, by Valdosta going the other way. Husser looking for a centering ball for the Azalea men, but this one's going to be spilled out here by Tallahassee. Now an opportunity to counter. Cup was going to look to go forward on a little bit of a run. Joao in the midfield, a twisting, turning tackle. Bennett Mitchell will get on the outside of this one. Cuppa flaring up here now into the attacking half of the field. Tallahassee's got an option going on. He slips through a tackle, makes another man miss. A lot of players deep, and Cuppa's going all the way. Glory run, 2 inside the box. Centering ball looking for KTP, and it'll go across the box. Oh, just a little far of outstretch of Coney. Otherwise, it might have been 4 for Tallahassee.
Yeah, what a run by your center back. It was, he might go all the way.
Yeah.
And he, if it was the other football, he would have been. He made it to the end zone all right.
Absolutely. Yeah, the way he was going, it just kept going and going and going. But a good little switch over that far side. They had the opportunity to push. It's like, hey, go get him. Love that aggressiveness and love that mindset from Tallahassee to go chase it down. So it'll be a corner kick over here on the near side. It'll be Chiafini, right-footed in-swinger. 3 battle lions now going to approach the goal line. 3 meandering outside the box and 3 spaced out back. So another physical battle. Warren, the fox in the box. This is a diving effort by Gallardini. Threaded through, and Valdosta able to kind of turn, has an opportunity to counter if they can play it up over the top. Defense trying to get back. Here's KTP on the horse. He's a speedster. You love when your winger gets back defensively and makes an impact and is able to assist in deflecting the attack there. Really well done by Coney, Tolentino, Perry, KTP.
Yeah, great skill there to, you're coming in at a high rate of speed. That's difficult to slow down and make the challenge without fouling the guy, and he managed to do so. Abeja disagrees. He's stating that fact to anyone who will listen, particularly the referees, but they are moving on to other potential fouls they may want to look at.
Indeed. And the refs seem to be more often than not letting them play, Ben.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
Which, hey, as long as you're consistent and the game's not getting out of control, I'm sure the players actually prefer that. Yeah, there's a couple fouls that they would like to see called and some other things, but kind of what you saw in a couple of the games yesterday of, hey, you're letting it ride and it's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Centering ball just over the top looking for Sanchez or KTP. And this one will be out of play for a Valdosta throw.
Yeah, just a little too tall for Sanchez, and then KTP is, checking up because he's going to try and back up Sanchez maybe for a knockdown, but then it just went a little too far for both of them.
They'll get it rolling once again, but Tallahassee will be able to scoot back possession Cycle around the back line here. Battle Lions 2-goal advantage. Similar mark to what they had on PSC. Up over the top here for Sanchez. He'll scoop it back. Couple runners. Tallahassee has numbers forward if they want to go for it. Warren with time, but the defense now slides back to him. He's 30 yards from goal, almost dispossessed, but able to scoop it back to Comodine, who's great with service. He's got Mitchell on the far side. Back to Warren. Pressure coming here from Valdosta to keep Tallahassee honest. And they're going to dump it all the way back to the defensive half and cycle it back around. Zuri, Kuppa, Marcos all getting touches here for Tallahassee. For Valdosta, I did not notice any changes from the starting lineup, Ben, as this one's threaded through to Sanchez. Here's Gilardini, 30 yards from goal, and it'll slide all the way through. A little goalie-to-goalie exchange there, as Marcos will get a touch, but Gilardini, no fear back there between the pipes. Ben, he has been very assertive and very quick to make the call, and I think for the better of Valdosta here tonight.
Yeah, he definitely went to the Ederson school of goalkeeping. Not afraid to come roaring out of goal to make the play, and I think his defense appreciates that.
Yeah. And I think it's been required a couple times tonight,
Absolutely.
too. So, like, if he waits on that, that turns into a very dangerous situation, but he kind of negates the opportunity that Tallahassee had. It's just like, hey, I'll make a scary challenge, but I'll get in there, I'll make the decision quickly, and we'll get rid of it so it's not something more significant. Long ball over the top, and that one's going to sail. Maybe picked up a little bit of that Tallahassee breeze floating all the way back. Picked up by KTP. He's got Paul in the box. Sanchez coming late, tries to center it back, and it's going to be cleared out by Valdosta. Joe Warren, 40 yards from goal. Cycles it around back to the captain, Bennett Mitchell. And the former Leon man looking for some service. Hits the Wakoler Wunderkind. So rip! And it hits the side netting, but on the outside, and it'll be out for a Valdosta goal kick. But how about BP trying to add another to the score sheet, Ben? He scores in twos. You know this.
Yeah, I think it may not be the last we've heard from Mr. Paul tonight. Yeah, just ripped that one into the side netting. But like you said, unfortunately for us, the wrong side.
And he's looking fresh here tonight. Feels like he's got some good legs, got some buzz about him. Good to see him going after it here tonight. Like we said, always plays good here at the Gene. KTP with a nice takeaway, second consecutive one for him. Coney looking to carve out some real estate. Razak able to scoop this one out of play, but it'll be a Tallahassee corner.
Yeah, good skill from both players, particularly by the defender there to reach around and poke that one free. It's difficult to do without getting a penalty called on you.
This will be a corner over here on the near side. And it looks like KTP's going to take this one. Looking to go short for Comodine. Corner of the 18. Secondary service. Chiaffini gets ahead to it. Deflected by Valdosta. They'll look to save this one. And it will be out and over the line for a Tallahassee corner kick. So KTP will take this one again here, second consecutive quarter here in minute 58.
Brave header from Chiaffini. He had to dive down for that one, and that's where defenders are kicking their feet up.
Service. Chiaffini tries to go back corner. And you can tell he's disappointed at himself. Gets a clean look there. Dangerous flare, and it's inches over the bar bend. Great attack there.
Yeah, it really was. Just I would like to get over it just a tiny bit more, and maybe that one's in the back of the net.
And you know Chiaffini's got it in him, too. He's dangerous. Deceptive, but he's crafty in there. He can get himself into spaces to make an impact. We've seen that a number of times here this season on those set plays. And a couple great deliveries by KTP.
Yeah, and you know, if you're Valdosta, you're looking at someone tall like Joe Warren, but you got to be careful for guys like Chiaffini that can sneak in there. Those shorter guys can still be good on the headers. We've seen, you know, David Silva at the Euros managed to put in a headed goal when Italy wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, true. Threaded back against the grain. Razak now in an advancing position. He's been playing a little bit more of a defensive posturing here in the second half. Joao, an opportunity to serve, but tough bouncing ball, unable to get on top of that one. Chiaffini threads it out here to Mitchell, right about midfield. But we'll cycle on back to Cuppa, 40 yards from goal here for Tallahassee. Let's see if he wants to go on another glory run, maybe a little more confidence with the successes from last time. Out to the perimeter, Sanchez, half clearance, able to land it, and he's got an opportunity. KTP's offside, so Paul will circle it back. Here comes Joao, looking for some service into the box, sliding. Gallardini flips it up to himself, and he's able to handle it. Towering balls undercut, but will float to right around midfield. Comorin flips it back. Cuppa will chase. Hounded here by Andre, the goal scorer for Valdosta, but it'll be off and out of play for a Tallahassee throw.
Haven't seen a lot from Valdosta in attack so far in this second half. They've got a sub getting ready to come on. We'll see if that'll change something. But, yeah, if they want to get back into this game, they need to start making an impression sooner rather than later.
Mrazek with the takeaway, and now he'll look to go on a run. And physical challenge coming here from Paul. That'll be a free kick here for Valdosta, just inside 40 yards from goal. Width-wise, it'll be roughly the width of the 6-yard box, but they want to go quick. Early service here in the 61st minute, trying to tower through the back post, looking for Andre. And he had a chance at it, talking about scoring in twos, threatening the Valdosta man wearing number 11, Javi Andre. Dangerous today for the visitors.
And that's what you want to see if you're Valdosta. You've given up that third goal, really, and it was so early in the second half, too, not what you want to see. But this is their first foothold here in the second half. We'll see if they can press that advantage as we've got a substitution here for Valdosta. Looks like number 8, Anthony Husser, is coming in.
And of course, the next goal is the crucial one, Ben.
Absolutely, yeah. If Valdosta gets it, it's game on. Tallahassee gets it, game over. Razik, the player coming off for Valdosta.
Oh, wow. You wonder if it's got to be an injury concern because he's played a great game out there, and he's been one of the leading attacking threats. You talk about Andre Razik, definitely the 1-2 of that 1-2 punch.
Absolutely, and he's been on the receiving end of a couple challenges here tonight, so maybe they started to take their toll on him, and he needed some time on the bench to recuperate.
There you go, because this condensed part of the season, all the teams kind of have, well, I say all of them, most of the teams here in the conference have a backloaded schedule, and that things are going to get pretty dense for the last 2 weeks here, especially with the stadium construction that they have going on up there in Hehira. So a little bit of a switch up here coming for Valdosta, as this one's going to be dropped back to Marcos, and they want to play out of the back. Over here to Zuri, back to Joe Warren. Looks to thread out of it back to Marcos. Valdosta bringing the pressure. Tallahassee able to break initially, and there we go. Gets him out of the defending half, and now they've got an opportunity to run. Sanchez tried to get a hold of that one, and it slips through back to Valdosta. They'll dump it over the top, but offside position for them. Be a free kick for Tallahassee.
Another substitution, this time for our Battle Lions. There's Harrison Shapura getting ready to come in, but Tallahassee will take the free kick first.
Hey, Shapura, dangerous attacker in the box. You wondering if he's going to come in for Sanchez. Sanchez been putting in a lot of minutes here this week. You wonder if it's just kind of a release valve once again. Not to make player management a huge thing in lower league, but, you know, you have to factor in some of those elements, especially when you had the heat warning here as Shapura now coming on. And he's going to take off KTP. Oh, so he's going to take off Coney Tolentino Perry. So KTP will take a seat, and Shapur will come in. It'll be interesting if Shapur is going to stay on the wing or if he's going to flood centrally.
So far on the wing, but that could change as the game progresses.
To keep an eye on it. So second substitution from Tallahassee. Of course, both teams allowed 7. You can play the full 18 here in the league for clubs. So we saw Tallahassee play 17 on Wednesday. Almost the whole bench getting in there.
And I think Pensacola was trying to do the same until a certain red card affected that strategy.
Indeed. Of course, they should have factored that in. You got to factor at least one red card for each team, as we've now gone 2 consecutive years. And that's something we may need to dive back. Since we'll be in the record books anyways that we talked about, Ben, we got to get ready for that Daddy Day fixture out in Pensacola. We need to brush up on how many times that Tallahassee and Pensacola have finished with 10 men on the field, whether it be one or both teams.
And if any of you viewers know the answer, feel free to put it in the chat. We love audience participation here.
There you go. As you can see, we got the Joe Warren fan club popping off in the chat here. Of course, why not? 4 goals this season, 3 goals this week. For the Fox in the box, Joe Warren threaded through. Braden Paul's going to flip it up. A little too much there for Sanchez. Good thought for Tallahassee. Put him in a dangerous position. And how about Gallardini wants to run with it, trying to get some numbers up. Service from 45 yards from his goal. Now he's out. If Tallahassee can get on the ball, they could try to dial one up from long distance. Threaded out to the perimeter here on the near side. Chase being given by Comodine. Cut back against the grain. Offside position here for Valdosta. And so they'll let it ride back for the Tallahassee goal kick.
Yeah, and ever since they're at that little flurry, Valdosta still has not really managed to get back in this game. If you had to go on the balance of play, you'd say the next goal, if it comes, is more likely to come from Tallahassee. Valdosta needs to make some changes soon.
Indeed. Threaded through here, Zuri a touch. Working out of the defense, one of the longest tenured Battle Lion players. This one's piped up to Braden Paul. And almost 30 yards from goal once again. Gallardini coming out and getting it when called upon here for Valdosta.
And, you know, they haven't really been able to get it going attacking-wise in this second half, but they have kept that high line, as you can see. That's what you need from your goalkeeper if you want to keep a high press. Coming out, getting the ball forward gives your defense the opportunity to stay high and compress the lines.
Indeed, and when they go on that attack in front, like you said, Ben, running the high line, there have been times where 21 of the 22 players on the field have been in the Tallahassee half. Threaded through, Chiafini looking to come in and give a challenge. Centering ball here for Valdosta. They beat the initial pressure, scoop it up over the top. Good rip by Amechi to head it out of danger. Comodine just with a turn and fire, and something comes of it. Secondary ball falling for Tallahassee. Mitchell scooping back to the interior to Chiafini, 50 yards from goal. He'll dump it back to the center circle as Warren dribbles over top of that Records Raiders logo. Threaded over the top, looking for Joao. And he's chopped down 40 yards from goal. It'll be a free kick here for Tallahassee. Right in the middle of the park, widthwise. Oh, no, sorry. It was a Valdosta free kick. My mistake.
Yeah, I believe he may have been offsides before the foul occurred. Perhaps. I thought for sure it was a foul. But, yeah, I imagine it must have been offsides.
We'll see. Resuming action, 68th minute. Cup driving out of the back here for Tallahassee. Up to Shapura. Or I was going to say first touch for him, but he lets it go for Comodine. Service centrally. A little too much meat on the bone there for Sanchez. Went out well for Cuppa, and now he wants to go on an attacking spell. Nicely threaded through. Chiafini to Joao. Service opportunity here for MT. Comodine, nice cut back, has some service. Back to Shapura, excuse me. And Shapura tries to scoop this one out. Sanchez, good pursuit from him. It'll be out of play. Tallahassee throw roughly 35 yards from goal. Chiafini via Zuri. Quick touches. Paul Sanchez back to Chiafini. Trying to go over the top. A little too heavy. Looking for Paul. But Tallahassee continuing to generate chances. Mitchell to Paul, goes centrally, one-on-one with the keeper. Oh, and Gallardini stays home. And Tallahassee stuck on 3. Great opportunity. Warren's chopped down 35 yards from goal. So it'll be a free kick here for the Battle Lions. Fantastic opportunity, but Gallardini, great save, coming out and shutting it down.
Paul's still mad at himself. You saw him yell immediately after that shot was saved and then just pulling up his jersey, covering his face. You could see the frustration. You know, he's dribbling in on goal, maybe trying to bait the keeper to dive one way or the other, and he can go the other way. Keeper stayed home, tried to meg him, but the keeper was wise to it.
This will be a free kick. Going to be taken back here. Once again, 35 yards from goal. Width-wise is about the 6-yard box, so you can see it on the hash marks there of the football field. And it looks like it'll be taken here by Sanchez from distance. A little chip out of the rough for Warren. And he scoops it wide of the post, but there's the old fox in the box roaming around there, Ben, lurking for it.
Yeah, and we saw him as the free kick was getting ready to be taken. He was kind of making some movements, trying to lose his defender, and sure enough, he got free, but just couldn't direct it goalwards. He was trying to beat the keeper at the near post, but unfortunately, he was too far beyond the near post to really have that effect as we have our second half water break.
Right about the 71st minute. So we'll have opportunity to run through here. But we had the shifted up pregame, so we didn't get into it like we were going for it here, Ben. But we talk about how the improvements for Valdosta. You look at some of the previous results here from last season. Of course, aggregate scoring, Tallahassee in 3 matchups, taking it 18-3. So I think even by those score lines alone, you look at here tonight, and I think even the product on the field, Valdosta well on their way to building a solid program, and I think is going to be a fun contributor here to the Gulf Coast Conference.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's kind of 2 ways you could look at these results. You could say, wow, 18-3 this year, and it's only 3-1 now. Is Tallahassee kind of falling off? No, that's not the case. This is a very good Tallahassee side. And Valdosta showing a lot of quality. It really is. Valdosta has taken that next step, and it'll be exciting to see what they do the rest of this season and in seasons to come.
Indeed. You wonder, and you start to look at it, if there was a way to kind of restructure things to open up the divisions a little more to see if that would change anything. But I think the league as a whole is much, much more balanced this year. And I don't think it's even close. You see AFC's up. I think the Academy's up. I think Valdosta's up. And then, of course, the addition of PSC has been a welcome. So I feel like both sides, while maybe 4-horse race might be dramatic for the title, but I think it's very realistic to say it's a 4-horse race for the playoffs. And I think any of those 4 teams on each side could go get that playoff spot, depending on their classification and where they fall.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with that. Again, you know, we looked at the Mobile-Gaffa game, ended 1-1, but, you know, Mobile could really have they could have taken second place with a win tonight. Really shows how tight it is.
And exactly, you look at the standings, so Mobile, I think, is currently in 3rd when you look at it, but in back-to-back weekends, they've tied on the road. They tied Union 10, who's the top dog right now, 1-1. And then, of course, on the road in Mississippi, tied Gaffa 1-1. So you look at it, and they're right with the powers in the West.
Yeah, and you know that change of them, you know, moving from a position lower in the league, moving farther up, that's not going to happen all in one shot. So this is kind of a little incremental step. We'll see if, you know, progress isn't always linear. We'll see if they can take that next step next season. And it could be that they do, and they maybe still miss out on the playoffs just because the league is so tight. But, yeah, good to see. We want more competitive fixtures in this league, so it's good to see all these tight battles in both divisions of the Gulf Coast Conference.
Scoop down, and Warren will get this one freed up here. Centering ball is going to be slid through as Valdosta going on a little excursion. Flying bodies of Husser. Service. Andre, another dangerous opportunity the lead provocateur for Valdosta, diving full stretch in the box, just past his right foot. Otherwise, that may be number 2 for Valdosta.
Yeah, and he did a good job to get free. You could see Cuppa and Mitchell were talking to each other. I don't know that they were really communicating the way that they would like to since he had gotten free. But, yeah, that's a critical moment for Valdosta, I believe. Yes, we've restarted with a goal kick. I saw a big lightning flash to the left. Got a little worried we were stopping, but we're playing on. It's far enough away that we're still safe to play.
Might have been a photo flash over here on the left-hand side. Is that what you're looking at?
No, there's been a couple lightning bits up to the north, but I guess we're still in the clear so far. We had that lightning delay earlier, but these seem to be a little farther away.
Of course, one of the benefits here of the Tallahassee experience is the facilities, the good partnership here on the Weather Watch. And if anything comes in, I know the people next door are watching that like hawks. They've got a great service that alerts them if lightning is in the area like we had earlier today. That was the trouble of the delayed start. And it seems like we get at least 1 or 2 per year, Ben, like clockwork, affected by the weather, but that's summer in the south. Advancing ball going down in the box and maybe a little contact, but not enough to warrant a penalty there as Sanchez giving chase for your Battle Lions.
A couple more subs getting ready for Tallahassee, but the goal kick will come first.
Surprisingly, not a lot of substitutions for Valdosta yet. Just as I speak on that, they have a player getting up and getting ready to go. Giaffini squared off the cup. Tallahassee looking to build out a back, and they're throwing numbers forward. 5 Battle Lions hounding that back line of Valdosta.
Coach Joel, you wouldn't, if you just looked at his reaction there, you wouldn't know we were 3-1 up. He's, how are we missing these? Good to see the passion from Coach. Even with 15, 20 minutes to go and a 2-goal lead, he wants more.
100%. And he's a big process guy, too. So you talk about the structure being limited, and you got to stay on it. You can't take your foot off the gas because these teams are legit, and these competitions are fierce, and points are at a premium. So like we see now, goal differential is a factor of Tallahassee being in first, but the difference between second and third in their division. Nice save there by Marcos. He deflects it out. Potential opportunity for a counter. Cummeldean's going to play this one on the ground, but it's going to be scooped out here by Valdosta. Squared off here for Husser. And it'll be settled back down, and Valdosta look to swing it around, but a little bit of a hairy sequence again. And, you know, couple feet one way or the other, and Valdosta's back in this game, Ben. That was very close, as over the 40 yards from goal, Gallargandini with a big scoop. And a big collision there, and yellow card being shown here to the Valdosta player. About 50 yards from Tallahassee goal.
Coach Joel giving a big sign to just settle it down, calm it down. You know, because it only takes one moment for Valdosta to get back in this game. Tallahassee's been far and away the better side in the second half, but it just takes one slip up, and Valdosta's only down a goal. So we see Sanchez being substituted off here. It looks like Bennett Mitchell is joining him as well, getting a warm reception from the home crowd. Good crowd here tonight, despite the late start and the weather.
Yeah, definitely a couple hundred. I don't think we'll get to the, 600 that we had versus Pensacola last week, but we're definitely strong triple digits.
Absolutely.
Out here. Tallahassee consistently getting solid crowds. As Herrera in for Valdosta, is just as we talked about them not making some changes, they go ahead and do so. So Danny Malden in for Tallahassee. Cut back against the grain. Good scoop up here by Joao. Threaded through. Zuri up to the task there. Will scoop this one out. And Tyler Law, the other substitution here for Tallahassee. So like you said, Ben in for Bennett Mitchell. So the captain, his day is done.
Well-deserved rest for the captain.
Mm-hmm. Still got a couple players potentially to get in on the mix here for you, Battle Lions. There's one cycle around here for Zuri as we get to the 80th minute mark. Of course, it feels like Tallahassee's in control, but realistically, still only a 2-goal advantage. This one's still in the balance. Quickly taken, sliding in there, Joao, and ref doesn't like the shoulder-to-back combo, so this will be a Valdosta free kick. See if we can check in on some of those other games.
I want to give a quick shout-out to the ball boy. He, good hometown ball boy, was taking his time getting it back in when his team's got the lead, and the ref's like, hey, come on, let's get it going here. Good job to the ball boy down there. Way to support the home team.
Yeah, that's not the first time that's been the case here over the history. They're training him up well, Ben, I think is the message here. Tallahassee now an opportunity inside the box. Malden, dangerous position, able to scoop it out. Has Shapura. Support coming here. Here's Lau. Tries to center it. And this one will be cleared on out. Scooped here by Kamaldeen. Back to Joao. Physical efforts. 3 Valdosta players versus Joao in the middle.
Shin guards are going flying. I don't know whose that was, but someone is missing a shin guard down there.
Yep. Headed back against the grain. Kamaldeen going to come in and scoop this one. Ref didn't like the physical nature of that challenge. But interesting match going out in New Orleans. New Orleans and Union 10, minute 60. Tied 1-1.
All right, New Orleans looking for their first point of the season.
And they have been coming into form a little bit, Ben. They have been playing better. They gave PSC a real run. I think it was last weekend. Came up on the short end of the stick. I think it was 2-1. But gave them a fierce competition, especially at home. I've noticed New Orleans plays well. Allegedly, it's 0-0 out LAX PSC, but don't know the official ruling there. We can see that from the feed, but we can only go off the information that we've been provided. So, allegedly, 59th minute, 0-0 for those teams here in the Eastern Division. Currently, PSC would be in the playoffs if they started today. Currently sitting at second in the East, though they are tied with Tallahassee on points and matches played. Here's Malden, an opportunity to get inside the 18. Centering ball, Shapura! Offside flag, looks like it stays down. And how about the youth moving on here in Tallahassee? The youngsters connect for Tallahassee's 4th, and it's Shapura's second one of the season. Second one what? Second TSC goal! And the Battle Lions up by 3.
Yeah, that should be the icer. That one should really 3 goals, 3-goal lead, less than 10 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And that should seal the deal for Tallahassee. A critical 3 points looks to be on the way. 3 points from a 3-goal advantage. Yeah,
Woo.
Great job there from Shapura. He just got in behind the Valdosta defense. I think at this point they're just kind of gassed. They've been under pressure a lot this second half. They've just had runners coming at him, and Shapura coming off the bench. He's got those fresh legs. They just couldn't hang with him.
There you go. And how about that? Quite the 24 hours for that scoreline, Ben, with the 4-1 split coming here from Tallahassee, as you saw from the World Cup last night. Threaded back to Kamaldeen. What a ball. Gets over the top to Lau. He's able to chase it down, and the Scotsman trying to find a centering pass. He's got Malden, dumps it off, and it's able to slide through. Zhao on the score sheet. And now it's raining goals here for Tallahassee, back-to-back within a couple minutes. And it's his first ever for the Brazilian-born player. It's a TSC goal! 4-goal advantage now for Tallahassee.
Yeah, and what a ping ball. Was that Warren who just launched that across the field? That was an amazing bullet pass. And yeah, then good job by Lau to take that down, find Almeida on the top of the box who rocketed it home. An initial good save, but he just kind of kicked it up. It had a lot of backspin, and the Valdosta defender going to clear it. All he could do was just kick it into the roof of the net. 5-1 Battle Lions lead. That's what you love to see, is more substitutions coming in for TSC. Looks like Cameron Kennard now in on the action, as is Luke Daunt.
Hey. So, of course, Luke Daunt made his debut back versus Mobile, but been a minute since we've seen LD, as Joao well-deserved rest after putting his first ever TSC goal. Let's talk about the youngsters. Luke Daunt, another one of those youthful players, sliding on in, and he's ready to go. Part of the Daunt dynasty that we've seen out here for Tallahassee. Of course, the third Daunt brother to don the TSC kit. Ben.
I see what you did there. I wish the viewers could see the little motion you just made in the box. It was very very athletic.
What's that old adage you love to use, Ben, about peak male performance?
Yeah. Oh, this was peak male performance, no doubt about it.
Nice little hesitation. Got the NBA Finals in me a little bit there, Ben. 86th minute. Here, Tallahassee now comfortably sitting in position to take this one into next week. Malden, a touch here. Back to Big Z. Amechi threads it through here to Lau, up over the top, looking for Shapura, and he's got to flick it up. No way that gets down. Oh, dangerously close. What a crafty move by the Brookwood boy there.
Yeah,
I should say the Brookwood graduate. Sorry, Brookwood graduate.
Respect the man's accomplishments.
Indeed. Headed for UP as Daunt gets in a nice challenge. Little collision with the visitors there down on the near side. So Daunt said, I want a little taste of this. Let me get in there.
Let them know you're there.
Indeed. So I believe that's all of the field players that we've had off the bench. Almost all of them. Good point, Ben. Have hit the field here today. Is Daunt now on the ball? There you go. Some good touches here from Daunt. Slides out of danger. Heavy collision. Gets a little something for Herrera. Also a recent substitute here for Valdosta. That was just tough positioning there. Daunt digs in and gets a tough collision there. Eats it on the back.
Yeah, he had his little, he gave someone a, I'm here in the game, and then he got a little welcome to the game in return.
Yep. Over the top, Shapura giving chase and be scooped up by Gallardini. Kennard also in the game. Slipped in. Cameron had some good minutes out there in Callaway. First the Lax FC game. Malden onside. Nice. Does a good job to possess, distribute to Kennard. And the Central Florida man fights through. Nice little step over. Lau gets decleated. Kennard on the advancing spree. A little bit of a heavy touch as he goes into the 18. As Valdosta getting their slide on.
Was that Husser that received a yellow? So he was already on a yellow. I don't know. I have to double check that number. No, that's 6. Excuse me.
Yeah, these
Mattis,
numbers are
they
a
got
little
the
tough.
yellow card.
6s, 5, 8s, all look the same here. From
Even the 5s look like 6s.
yeah, from 4 stories up here in the Ivory Tower, the Coliseum of Athletics here in the Big Bend. Second ball won by Daunt. Tries to flip it over, looking for Kennard. And there you go, dug out by Cameron, chopped down. And he's getting some good welcome to the game moments here. Nice little bit of class there as Giaffini flips it up and then backheels it to Daunt. Tries to send the ball through to Malden. And another collision. And I know a lot of those athletes are playing multiple sports up there at McClay. Ben got a little football flair to him.
Well, we're on a football field.
Does LD. Yeah, he saw the hash marks, got mixed up, and hey, Daunt's going to get on the score sheet there, Ben, with the card. Paul giving nice pursuit. Paul, one of 4 field players that has gone wire to wire today. Giaffini looking to go through. Shapiro on the attack, and now he gallops forward towards Gallardini. Service on the way for Valdosta. Centering ball. Mechi meets it really well. Good tackle there by Big Z. But secondary ball is going to be won by the Azalea boys. Centering ball. Giaffini up to the task. Heads a towering ball up by that crossbar, Ben.
Yeah, and you love to see that from one of your forward players still getting back on defense and getting things done. Coach Joel just giving another settle down, pointing at the forehead. Just keep your wits about you. You don't want to give away a cheap goal here at the end.
Of course, like we said, going to need that goal differential. So it's important. It's important. It's being factored in right now with the PSC journey as we get into stoppage time. Corner for the visitors, who looked keen on playing it short. Still looked that way. To Andre, look at a double back.
Good block.
Forcing out. Giaffini driving the Valdosta attack out of the danger zone. Not an indication of how much stoppage time to anticipate. We've had 3 goals in this half. A couple cards. So you'd think we'd be flirting with 3-ish minutes, if not more.
Sounds about right to me. Unsurprisingly, they're an offside call. No one even remotely in the vicinity of the attacker there. And I think he knew it he didn't make a full attempt at that. So now it's a long ball forward.
Daunt on the end of this one. Valdosta going to win the secondary ball. Kennard, nice bit of shielding. Is able to fight through. Win the third one. Great save as he's able to spill it out to the perimeter as well. Lau on the attack. One back by Kennard. Centering ball here to Malden. Looking for Paul on the backside. And how about Paul sliding after it? Still got some giddy up. Playing the full 90-plus and still able to chase that one down. Almost able to slide in and scoop that one up. And the old turf monster got Paul. He'll be having raspberries for breakfast tomorrow morning. That was a rough one.
Yeah, you were talking about the slick surface earlier. When you go down to slide, you are going to go quite some distance.
Yeah, now it's dried out a little bit too. So he felt all the bit of that turf slide getting tangled up underneath of him. Good dig out there by Paul, who's once again to the turf. LD once again in a physical challenge. Back to Joe Warren. He'll clear this one and try to buy TSC some time. Get a little deep breath and try to organize things at the back. As it looks like with the new formational shift that Warren's fallen back down to the back line, but that's all she wrote. So all final here from Gene Cox Stadium. 5-1 is going to be the final score line that we have here. A successful journey here for Tallahassee. Ben, what you think?
Well, we talked about it pregame. This was a result. You had to get the 3 points.
Yep.
Tallahassee did that and then some. A resounding 5-1 victory. It started out a little hairy, though. Xavi Andre in the 7th minute getting a goal to give Valdosta the lead, but an immediate response. Free kick goal for Diego Sanchez in the 10th minute. And then Tallahassee extended their advantage. Joe Warren off the corner in the 32nd minute. And then we had some more goals in the second half. You know, almost immediately, Braden Paul threw on goal in the 46th minute. And from there, Valdosta, it was going to be really difficult for them to recover. They never really had the attacking impetus that they had in the first half, and Tallahassee just pressed the advantage from there. You saw the Valdosta defense, not only were they getting stretched, they were just tired from chasing after Tallahassee all night long, and it showed as Shapura and Almeida got goals where Tallahassee was really getting in behind the defense, plenty of space, and sure enough, Tallahassee finishes this all in off 5-1. Good 3 points as we continue to push toward the playoffs.
Absolutely. And speaking of playoffs, as we look around town, now Union 10, 2 unanswered here as they come back against New Orleans, 74th minute. And from what we can see on the stream, evidently it's 0-0 still, but 74th minute, so we'll keep an eye on that one. But we do know for sure Gaffa and Mobile is a 1-1 final. So I know on our standpoint we can update a little bit of table action as Tallahassee's going to get a little bit of a bump, Ben. Where can we expect to see Tallahassee?
Yeah, so right now we're looking Tallahassee is at 2.28 points. And I'm just double checking. Again, we're not 100% sure on that Panama City score, but they would be at, if it's 0-0, as the stream score bug indicates, they would be at 2.0. So as it stands, Tallahassee would leapfrog Panama City Beach for that second spot. But again, that game is still underway, so time enough for that result to change.
Indeed. So we'll try to update that as we slide on through with the statistics and the navigations.
Good to see the Tallahassee players coming to thank the home crowd, the home crowd coming in response, and also a good showing. We've got a lot of people in pink here. Good away showing from the Valdosta crowd. Not the result they would have liked to see, but you love to see a traveling fan base here in these lower league games.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Love to see it. So, of course, this is a little bit of some estimatory with some outstanding situations, but if that game is indeed a tie between PSC and LAX, this is how the table would look. Tallahassee would jump into the 2, Pensacola would stay top, Valdosta, that would change, as of course they would be impacted there, but they would fall closer to that 1.0 margin. I believe they would be 7 points on 7 matches, Ben, if I'm not mistaken.
They would indeed, so they would have 1 point. Again, Pensacola did not play tonight, so they will stay at 2.5. And again, as it stands, Tallahassee has 2.28. Panama City even at 2.00. Valdosta 1.00. And LAX, again, as things stand, 0.17.
There you go. Rock and roll. So that'll, of course, clean itself up. But if we were going to change things up to potentially how the playoffs could look, I think the big switch that you'll be looking at is the switch here in those top 2, Ben, because if nothing else, at least before the game goes final. So we'll see. But as the points are in the barn, this is what the playoff picture looks like. Tallahassee jumps temporarily. We'll see if it'll last back into the 2 spot. So if the playoff started now, right now here, I know it says noon, but if it started at 9:35 p.m., this is what your playoff field would look like. Union the 1, Pensacola the 1 on their respective sides, and they would be hosting those matchups. So in the short term, looking good.
Absolutely, and don't forget, next Sunday night,
Dun, dun, dun.
Tallahassee travels to Pensacola.
Indeed.
And that's just a great opportunity to really cement your playoff spot. It's the last of those top 2 teams that we're going to face between Panama City Beach and Pensacola. So a great opportunity to get those 3 points, really launch yourself into almost guaranteeing a playoff position, because if you get 3 points from that game, you're at 2.38 points per match. Pensacola at 2.0. So that 3 points in that game could go a long way towards securing not just a playoff spot, but potentially the number 1 seed.
Absolutely. And if you were to forecast through that you feel like Pensacola will defeat PSC, that's going to be a must-win game for Tallahassee to try to force that tiebreaker in order to try to land the number 1 seed. Obviously, still a lot to be played here. Tallahassee, after that game, still with 2 more, and now a condensed schedule, like we talked about it. 5 days, 3 matches. You're going to be going Sunday, Wednesday, Friday in those fixtures, so it's actually 6 days. But 3 matches in 6 days. Brutal slate going for Tallahassee coming up as far as the scheduling is concerned. So that's why you saw some of these opportunities to sub out players when you had the chance, because that game is taken from July 3rd. Now, bam, jammed in the middle of the week. Luckily, it's not going to be too far. Valdosta, one of our closest opponents. They actually are the closest opponent.
I'd say they are our closest opponent.
Indeed. So it'll be interesting to watch as this is what the short-term schedule's looming here, and you look at the very bottom. As far as the standings are concerned, big one going on Wednesday. What'd you think about that matchup out in Pensacola, Ben?
Yeah, that's the big one. After our game, of course, the 8-5-0 Cup final. That's the next biggest game here in the Eastern in the Eastern Division, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's why it's so critical for Tallahassee to get those 3 points, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're needing Pensacola or potentially Panama City Beach to kind of throw you a bone, as it were. You want to be going into that game not even caring what the result is, because you've already locked up your playoff spot with a win against Pensacola.
100%. How do you see that game going, Pensacola, PSC?
Ooh, it's an interesting one to call, because Panama City Beach is, they beat us 3-0, and then we kind of flipped the script on them. So it's tough to say what they're going to be on the. They're going to be on the road, so I would have to say I think Pensacola is going to win that game.
Okay. You thinking some goals? You thinking low scoring? What are you feeling?
Well, Pensacola, I mean, when they've outside of our game, they've really been taking it 2 teams.
Yeah.
But again, this is another one of the top teams, so I'd say Pensacola. I'd say a 3-1 result. I would expect them to get.
Yeah, that feels fair. They play really well at home as well. Plus, that'll be an interesting day out in the West, as you can see. Union 10, the Academy going on. So, hey, if the Academy goes out there and gets one, that really throws it into anybody's game out there in the West. But, yeah, huge matchup in the East. I think best case scenario for Tallahassee, you're rooting for the tie. You want both teams to come down between Pensacola and PSC, but we'll see how that one plays out going forward. Like we said, that'll happen in the middle of the week. Then we will travel on the road Wednesday, but then the next and last home game will be here June 26th, and that's where we'll have the final of LAXFC, the first time they've ever come to Tallahassee, and so that will put a period on the regular season. Of course, still have those postseason aspirations, as we said. Tallahassee currently going to take those into the mix, but still much more to be played going forward for your Battle Lions. So we'll see as we have the final players going off the field here for a 4-1 result. Ben, as we look at it, any final thoughts of the action that we've had here tonight, the battle between Valdosta and Tallahassee?
Job well done.
Day 7.
Job well done. That's how I'd sum it up. You had to get the 3 points. You not only took care of business, but you did it with a little bit of style, and you had to overcome some adversity to do it. That early goal kind of really threw a spanner in the works, as it were, but Tallahassee didn't let it faze them, immediately responded with that goal to level it, and then just took off from there. So, job well done. Let's go get Pensacola.
Ooh, indeed. Let's do that indeed. So, if we have the correct results, which we think are final, one more time table as we head out the door. This is what we're going to be looking like. Of course, PSC final still to be determined against LAX, but a little splash in of here what it looks like points per match, but we'll be able to know exactly what that looks like tomorrow. And that'll put a bow for us all here to Tallahassee. Fantastic game. Reminder, goals by Joao Harrison, Braden, Diego, and Joe here for the Battle Lions. Of course, shout out to our boys once again for getting those national team recognitions nationwide. Good stuff. Of course, that'll be all for us here today. Thanks for coming aboard. Andrew Jupe, Ben Grubbs, Natalie Everett bringing you the action here tonight. Have a great rest of your weekend. And hopefully we'll run into you at Pensacola over next Sunday, week from tomorrow. Be well.